So my mum called the police, yeah. My mum called the police on me. And after that, friend basically said no. I just didn't feel comfortable reaching out to, because I don't know how much of everything to say and share. Hey beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. Today is a very different video, and I just hope, I just don't think there's any way I can do this without getting emotional. Maybe about 2 weeks ago somebody commented on a very old video of mine. It's a video that I'd even forgotten that I made, and the comment was along the lines of, wow, like I can't believe how close you are to your mum. Like if this ever happened to me, like I would not be able to just like move on and have that relationship that you have with your mum. Even just thinking about it, like, I mean, like it was 2 weeks ago and I was like, okay, I'll film a reaction. I haven't watched this video in years, and I'm like, what was she referring to specifically? Obviously I know what happened is my life, but I'm wondering what she was referring to specifically, but I couldn't bring myself to go back and watch it, because it's going to be so emotional. But yeah, do you know what, let's do it, because I think sometimes it's easy to forget how far you've come. Like that's what I was saying, like each and every one of us is dope because we've all had our own unique and different journeys. And you know, I've shared a lot on my channel, especially if you guys are new. There's a lot of stuff about me that you probably don't know unless you've gone back and watched a lot of my older content. I just saw now I've got 401 videos on YouTube. That's madness. 401 videos on YouTube, and I've been on YouTube for 4 years, so that's 100 videos a year. That's pretty much a video every 3 days. Like, wow. So yeah, so I'm going to go back and watch it. The video that I'm going to watch and react to is going to be in my description box. It is titled From Homeless to Homeowner in Just 2 Years, and I think on the thumbnail it says I used to be homeless and sleeping in my car. Wow, I really blocked that out of my life, you know. I never think about that anymore, but it's true, and it will be very interesting. I think this video was filmed 3, if not 2.5, if not 3 years ago. So it will be very interesting to see what young Mimi had to say about the topic. I will just say at the start that me and my mum have a very great relationship now. I wouldn't say very great, but we have a very good relationship now, and we've both worked really hard to like get to the point where this isn't an issue anymore. Like I don't think about it. Everything I've been through has made me who I am. As you can see from the title, From Homeless to Homeowner, what I went through gave me like quite a bit of drive to make sure that that never happened again. So I keep looking at the monitor. So I'm going to play the video here, but if you can't really see it, I will probably put like clips in on the corner as well, and you guys can see my reaction. So let's go. So I have this intro here. I have not had anything like this in years, where I'm basically like dancing in slow motion, listening to one of my sister's songs and just feeling myself. God, my makeup game has come a long way, and then obviously my old teeth as well, so it's a bit of a shock to the system seeing, but thank God for the glow up day, okay? I'll wait till our stars are aligning, cause you bomb, 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 diggy, diggy, bomb. Ooh, gotta give me some. Mimi, by the way, guys, it's probably going to be Thanksgiving weekend when I drop this video, so happy Thanksgiving to all my American subscribers. Oh my God, I had a lisp. I had a lisp. I can hear a lisp. Did I always have a lisp? I didn't even know I had a lisp, but it's so evident here. I don't know if it's like the air funneling its way through all the gaps in my teeth. And it's also Black Friday weekend, so I hope you're getting your shopping on. Where I am today in my life, it's approaching almost a year since I moved to Barcelona, and really when it comes to like my story time or my sit down videos, I try and keep them as positive as possible. If I don't have something like really like funny, like I generally don't share it. I try not to be too serious, and I definitely try not to be negative on this channel.
but I think it's important to share the struggles as well, because I know some of you guys might be going through situations and you're like, God, how the hell am I going to get out of it? So I'm going to share something that I was going through about 5 years ago and how I managed to come out of it, you know, so hopefully this can inspire, Motivation Monday and all that jazz. It's not Monday. But if I can help somebody out with sharing my story, then I'm happy to do so. It's been on my mind to film this video for months and months and months. I've been waitressing all through law school, so I just carried on doing that part-time. So I was waitressing part-time and I was back at home and I was living with my brother. Yeah, that was really great. I was really lucky that I had that privilege to go back home and live in a family house, because I really wasn't earning a lot of money waitressing part-time. So I don't want to go too into the details, but let's just say soon, after a few months of that, I was living with my mum again. Like, my mum moved back into the family home, and like our relationship wasn't always as good as it is now. So basically, like, yeah, I don't know how to say without spilling too much tea, but basically I got kicked out, and it was very like dramatic, like, yeah, it was a very dramatic scene. And looking back on it, basically all my things were thrown out of the house. The police were kind of involved as well, and I literally...
Oh my god, yeah, like I haven't even thought about that in years. Like, it was so dramatic. Yeah, like, yeah. My stuff was thrown out, the police were called. It was a lot, like, it was a lot. Like, my mum, yeah, she was big mad that day.
She didn't have anywhere to go, and like, it was a bit of a shock to the system, and I was literally like, what the hell am I going to do? I really didn't have any savings, any money. I wasn't earning anything substantial. The one thing I did have was I had a part-time job waitressing and I had a car. So it wasn't that bad. The first night I went to stay at a friend's house, but I really didn't feel that great about bumming on her sofa. She was really lovely, but I guess she didn't know how bad it was. I probably thought I'd go back home, you know, but after that was...
So it's actually quite funny. The friend that I went to stay with on her sofa that night, she didn't know how bad it was. And I only stayed there one night. Her husband was a police officer, and he actually responded to the call. So my mum called the police, yeah. My mum called the police on me, and he responded to the call. So he recognized my address. He'd been to my house a few times, and he was like, hang on, that's Mimi's home, and he was nearby, so he responded to the call. So basically I kind of went with him back to their home, and very lucky, I guess, that it was a friendly face, because he kind of did stick up for me, and he was like, no, you can't just throw all her things out on the street, like, just leave them in the room and give her a few days to come and collect her stuff, and she'll come and collect it. So yeah, it was random, but yeah.
I remember I reached out to another friend of mine, a very good friend of mine, and I was like, hey, you've got a spare bedroom, is it okay if I come and crash for like a few months? I'll pay rent, you know, is it okay? And she was basically like, I've spoken to my partner and it's just not a good time, and I'm sorry, but the answer is no. And it just kind of like made me feel more alone, and like, you know, like I felt like my family weren't there for me, my friends weren't there for me. That being said, it wasn't like I told my friends what had happened. You know, I was quite embarrassed to say like I was homeless and I had no place to go, and like how bad things had gotten with my family. I was quite embarrassed, and you know, so when that friend said that, I was literally like, right, I'm screwed. Like, I'm not going to reach out to any other people because...
Okay, so that was hard to like hear back. Yeah, I'm already getting teary-eyed. My relationship, I think, with that friend's not been the same. Probably, like, that was probably kind of the start of it. There's obviously other things that have happened since then. But when you go through something like that, it was very dramatic. Like, I can't even start explaining how dramatic that day was. Obviously I had one friend that I stayed with for one night, but she only had like a 1 bedroom. She lived with her partner. I stayed on the sofa. I didn't feel comfortable just like living on her sofa, so I reached out to a best friend. She was my best friend at the time, and I was like, hey, you've got a spare room? I think at the time she had 2 spare rooms even. She lived with her partner, and I was like, you know, is it alright? I'll pay rent, like something's happened, I need a place to stay. And then like, I think the next day she texted me back, and she was like, no. She's spoken to her partner and they decided that no, which is fair enough, you know. Like, I didn't exactly open up and say like I literally have nowhere to go. I didn't open up and say what had happened, but at the same time she never asked. And I think, you know, for me that was hard, because I feel like had the roles been reversed, that's why I don't like, so I didn't want to watch it. But I just felt like, had the roles been reversed and a friend of mine just out of the blues like, hey, can I come stay with you, I would have at least asked like, is everything okay, like what's going on. I mean, honestly I can't imagine any scenario where I would have said no to my friend. Like, I can't imagine it. Anyway, as you can imagine, it was quite embarrassing. As I said, like, it wasn't something I wanted to admit, that like my own mum had thrown me out. And after that friend basically said no, I just didn't feel comfortable reaching out to excuse me. I bet you guys weren't expecting this. Oh my god. And I just did my makeup as well. My makeup was banging. I just didn't feel comfortable reaching out to any of my other friends. I will just say though, like, me and this friend, we spoke about it years later. Like, our relationship was very strained for a while. We spoke about it, you know. She apologized. She said that, like, obviously she had no idea. If she'd known what I was going through, like she would never have left me to hanging to dry. So yeah, I'll just say that as well. Like, oh wow. Anyway, we're only like 5 minutes in, like still got another 10 minutes and your girl's already out here crying. But yeah, let's carry on.
I was just a little bit devastated by everything that had happened, but I had my car. So I had quite a few of my belongings in my car, and I had a duvet, I had like a makeshift pillow. So what I used to do, like, looking back on it, it's so crazy, like, just where I was and where I am now. I used to go and park, I'd finish work and my car would be in the parking lot of the restaurant, and I would park a little bit out of sight so that, like, when people were leaving after work they wouldn't see me, and I would climb into the boot. I think in America you guys call it the trunk of the car, so that people wouldn't see that I was sleeping in my car. So I would sleep in the actual boot of the car. I'd climb through the back seats, I'd put them down, and I would sleep in the boot of the car amongst my belongings. It was winter in England, it was freezing cold, and I was pretty much broken. Like, I did that for about 5 nights.
Wow. Like, you know, I feel like I definitely blocked this part of my life, like, from my memory, because, like, it's coming back to me now, but the way I never think about this, the way I never remember when this happened, like, can you imagine? Like, I was waitressing part-time. I was waitressing part-time and I had a car, luckily. I had a car. God, it's really crazy, like, because I don't know how much of everything to say and share. because like, at the same time I was never like the angel child. Like I had attitude, I had sass, you know, and if anybody came for me, parents included, you were gonna get it. But very quickly, the police, the reason they were called was my mum had loaned me money to buy my car at the time. Like, very clearly, she was alone. She'd asked me, like, we'd agreed, like, a date when I would pay her back. Like, it was 6 months. Ooh. The eyelashes come off from the tears. May as well just get it all off. I don't think I even said this in the video, so, you know, because I was really just trying to protect everyone. And I just think, like, me and my mum, like, we've spoken about it, we've healed from it. She's apologized, we've moved on, like, stuff like this happens. And I'm just glad that, like, it didn't break our family unit. It did for a while, but I'm glad that it wasn't permanent. Sorry, like, you know, you cry and you get a headache. I've got a headache now. But basically, my mum had lent me money to buy my car, and like we'd agreed that I would pay her back 6 months down the line. Then that day we'd gotten into a huge argument, and she was basically throwing me out and throwing my stuff out. And then she tried to take my car keys, and I was like, you cannot take my car keys, it's my car. And then she was like, no, it's my car, I paid for it, da, 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 da. You can't have it. I was like, yes, it's my car, you paid for it, but like I still have like 4 months to pay you back. Like, anyway, I got the keys, and that's why she called the police, because she was like, it's her car, I can't have it. Obviously when the police came, they said whose name is on the paperwork. It was obviously my name because it was my car. And not like she bought me the car outright, like she just paid for a part of it, I put in the rest of the money. Anyway, we're diverted. So that was actually why the police were called, because she called the police to basically get them to seize my car. Anyway, I was lucky that I at least had a car, because otherwise your girl would have been sleeping under a bridge. And I was waitressing, so I would finish work. I was waitressing part-time, so I wasn't earning a lot of money. And I would finish work. This was like after law school as well. Like, I think I've told you guys before that I waitressed for 1.5 years before I got my first graduate job. Like, people don't know your story. Like people hate me. I still don't know why. I have like a whole forum dedicated to hating me, where people say I lie about money. I've never lied about money ever. Like, I'm so honest about the things I go through and whatever. Anyway, stop getting diverted. So I would finish my shift at work at like 10 o'clock at night, and then people would be closing up, and I would drive my car like to the deepest part away from the restaurant, hidden behind some trees, and I had a duvet in there, I had a pillow. And I would basically get in the boot of the car, like I'd lay the back seats down, put my duvet on, and I would climb under, and I would always cover my head with the duvet just in case anybody came. I didn't want people to see that like I was sleeping in my car, and it was middle of winter, it was freezing, it was awful. It was honestly awful. And you might probably be asking, like, where was I showering? My gym at the time was next to a restaurant, so in the mornings I would then drive my home, I would drive my car to the gym, I would shower, I would brush my teeth, I would just like hang out there for a few hours, and then I'd go and start my next shift at the restaurant. But luckily it didn't last for too long, so I think I only had to do it for 5 nights. So a week after everything happened, like, I got help. But yeah, let's hear what she says. I say,
you cry myself to sleep, like, how the hell did this happen?
Yeah, I used to cry myself to sleep every night.
And I would just, like, I'm a very strong person, and I would just try to be strong. Like, don't worry, Mimi, you're gonna get through this. You don't have money, you don't have friends, you don't have family right now. It really felt like I was so alone, but I was like, you're gonna get through this. And the more and more I said that, the more and more I cried, because I literally couldn't see a way out. I didn't have money to stay in a hotel. I didn't have money to rent out another place to live. I was too proud and too stubborn to tell any of my other friends what had happened, and I was pretty much isolated. isolated from my family.
Yeah.
At that point. So yeah.
So I mean, some of you guys, you've seen like the relationship I have with my sister now, and like even my brother, you've seen him on the channel, so you might be thinking like, why I didn't reach out to my brothers and sisters. I didn't have there were many years actually after this happened that I didn't have any relationship with that side of my family. Yeah, let's just say when this story was told, the version of it that my siblings heard wasn't exactly quite accurate. And you know, growing up in an African house, it's like, you disrespect your mother, how dare you, da da da. But like, they didn't hear the truth, and it was like I felt like everyone was ganged up against me. Like my sister would text me like some really horrific messages based off of what my mom had told her. My brother would as well. So if you can imagine like having all your family turn against you and hate you, you're homeless, you're sleeping in your car. I used to cry. I used to just be bursting out in tears like all the time when that was happening.
Every night in my car trunk, and then the next day my gym luckily was literally next door to where I worked. I would go to the gym, I would brush my teeth, I would shower, I would go hang around in the town centre all day, not really doing much until I started my shift, and then after my shift I would head back to my car for another freezing night. So luckily with like waitressing jobs, like you get paid like, in that job at least, I got paid bi-weekly, so I didn't have to wait like a month before my next payday. Thank you, Jesus. So basically, after like 5 days and 5 nights of sleeping in my car, I got a paycheck, and it was maybe around 200 and something pounds. And I was like, this is not going to get me a room anywhere. But I'd seen a pretty decent room with like a young family, a husband and wife, and it was like $350. So I didn't have enough money to move in, and I certainly didn't have the money for the deposit as well. But I just reached out to her, and I went to see the property, and I was just like kind of breaking down, just saying, I'm so sorry, I really like the room, but
Charlotte's Magic Zoo.
Okay, so I'll just tell you guys, I think this part. So as you heard there, I got paid for my waitressing job. I got paid like 200 and something pounds for like 2 weeks of work. If I tell you, like, yeah, I really wasn't earning money. So I had like 200, maybe £20, and the room that I saw for rent was 350. And I went to go see the young family, and I wanted the room, and I just had to like say, I'm really sorry. I don't have the rent, I don't have the deposit, I only have this, but I can give it to you now. And I can move in straight away, you know, because I'm living in my car. You know, my mum kicked me out, and like it just kind of all came out like when I was trying to explain why I didn't have the money. And it turns out, actually, you know, like God is so good. It turns out that she had also been kicked out by her mum maybe 2 years before, so she could relate. And I think because she could relate and she could identify with having been in that situation, like she took a chance. She definitely took a chance, because I know even with my rental properties, someone says they don't have, you know, not even the rent, but they don't even have the deposit either. I'm like, whoa, no. You know, but she was just like, you know, I've been there, and yeah, if you want it, it's yours, you can move in, you know, I trust you. And like we basically set up an arrangement where like I was getting paid every 2 weeks. So 2 weeks after that, I paid her the rest of the deposit, the rest of the rent plus a little bit of the deposit. 2 weeks after that, I was able to pay the full deposit, and then I obviously I started taking more shifts as well. I said to my work, I need more shifts. So it almost, I think it turned into pretty much a full-time job waitressing at that point. So yeah, I'm still like really good, I wouldn't say really good friends, but I'm still like friends with this family, and I just so grateful you know, that God sent people to help me at that time in my life. And like I definitely tried to pay that forward. You know, I've had someone in the past who, like, he said his wife kicked him out and like he had the rent, no deposit, and I was like, yeah, my chance to pay it forward, you can definitely have the room, you know. So yeah, but anyway, let me fast forward because the video is dragging on and I'm getting a headache. I'm gonna have to go sleep after this. Let me fast forward. So basically I wasn't homeless. Actually, there's no point in me like carrying on, but like after that, like a week after it all happened, I wasn't homeless anymore because that young couple took a chance on me and they let me pay, you know, the remaining balance of what I owed them, you know, every few weeks. And I lived there for over a year. I say this in the rest of the video, but I just think, you know, it's quicker. Let me just get it out. I really have a headache now. I lived there for over a year and then I moved back home with my mum. Like, so it was about a year later, I think, that we were able to like start to resolve everything. So it wasn't even like we were on good terms when I moved back home. It was kind of like my dad was like, no, she's coming home. And that's that. And I think being there started to help resolve, like, every day. We still have arguments, me and my mum, but I guess like, whereas before, like, we didn't speak at all, now we had to at least be cordial and civil to each other. And the year that I spent there was where I really started saving for my property, where I started saving and obviously living at home. I think I was paying £100 a month, you know, just to contribute towards bills, but you know, I was saving so much more money. Yeah, I got my job at Procter & Gamble, so I wasn't waitressing anymore. I was saving all my money, not all of it, but quite a large chunk of it from working corporate and living at home. And like a year after that, or a few months after that, yeah, I was able to get my property. I think it was a year, maybe a year and a half after that, I was able to get my property. And as I've said before, very honestly, you know, I put down a 20% deposit, 10% was my own savings, and 10% came from my parents, you know, my mum and dad. So like we'd really worked, it's complicated, but yeah, we'd worked things out a little bit. So it's mad actually to think, like, now me and my mum, like, you know, I text her most days. You guys will see me video call her during quarantine, and like she knows, you know, how it affected me, because for years, like, you know, when you kick someone out, she probably thought I was going to go stay with my friends, or she thought I'd be back home by the end of the day. She obviously, well, I didn't say obviously, but I guess it never crossed her mind that I would actually be sleeping in my car. So yeah, we've managed to work through it. I just wanted to share this because, you know, you can survive so much more than you realize, and it can spur you on to greatness. I think for me, you know, after going through that, I was like, I would never be homeless again, no matter what. I will never ever go through this again. And like getting my own property that no one could throw me out of was a high priority for me. So yeah, that is my reaction to a very, very old video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Sorry for all the tears. Yeah, don't forget to subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and yeah, I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.